Hey, what's up, folks? How we doing tonight? Um, Last week we did AL. We had a nice panel on with us. Well discussed for the AL. Tonight we're doing NL. Yes, I have two teams. I have an AL team and an NL team, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Actually, it doesn't feel like that anymore with the way these new divisions are all set up. But we'll talk about that for a minute. We have a pretty good panel with us tonight. Some are jumping in later, a little bit late, but we're going to start things off with one guy that definitely pops in with us every Wednesday, usually for football recap. But now he's going to be breaking down Mets. Joe, what's going on?
Not much. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You ready to talk a little bit of Mets with us tonight?
Yeah, it's weird to change gears. Like you said, I used to doing the football, and so it's going to be weird to talk a little baseball now. But yeah, I'm definitely ready to do so.
Well, we got football tomorrow night. We're going to go over the
Yep.
Super Bowl. It shouldn't be too long, but you know how our
Mhm.
shows end up going.
Yeah.
um, Anyway, been breaking down some USFL too. Had two shows out so far, so still keeping football going. Next, we have a returning guy. I love this guy. He's very knowledgeable. He is a Milwaukee fan, and I'm okay with that.
How are we doing? Good to see you again. You gonna make it?
Good, I'm fucking dying.
I mean,
here.
stay with us. Stay with us. Take a drink.
Anyway, Chase, what's happening, buddy?
Not much. Yeah, like you said, football season's done, so I'm winding that up over at Belly Up Sports and kind of switching into off-season mode. We'll be talking dynasty football over there for the most part here for the next couple of months. Other than outside of the draft, when the draft rolls around, we'll be watching free agent signings, that kind of thing. But time to jump into some baseball. Time to look at lineups and who's in, who's out.
Bases.
Yep. Yeah. Rule changes and everything else. It's time to hit that.
So have you guys had a chance to look at the rule changes?
Only some. I mean, I love the pitch clock. I read that the Ghost Runner is staying now, and
I
you
saw
know,
that today.
I'm sure there's some things that I'm missing and that I haven't seen yet. But I'm starting to now get into it and get familiar with some of the changes here.
I think I jump started you, Joe.
That's all right.
Some of the changes we got obviously the bigger bases. I wish they only did it at first though. I don't understand why they had to do it at every base. First is the main base, where most collisions happen and everything else. Um, you know what I mean? Like why change all the bases? Now stolen bases are going to be out of control because you have way more room to slide in there and it can't be blocked.
hmm Yeah, I agree with that. And you had the why do it like they do in softball, where they have like the two-sided base, perhaps? That could have been an option.
Oh yeah, hey, first base where they have the half orange and like the double long, so that the fielder has a place to go, but the runner has a place to go as well, and there's less
Right.
chance of tripping and having a catastrophe happen over there, like we've seen with guys in the past. Jason Kendall for one.
And
Right.
I am and just to let everyone know, our Cardinal man is here.
Hey,
You guys started way too early. I mean, good Lord. You said 9 o'clock your time and you started TikTok.
We just started
8 o'clock Central.
We just started 4 minutes and 44 seconds ago. Look,
I know. I'm sorry.
I gave you time. You got a new setup tonight, my man, huh?
Yeah, I'm at the venue tonight, so I had to get all my equipment so I can look professional in this bridal room.
ooh,
You're welcome. So, if you're
You
in the
get married.
Dallas-Fort Worth huh?
You said the bridal room?
Yeah. This is my bridal room.
Okay.
Why are you questioning this? This is so simple, Adam.
It's not simple, but all right. So anyway, Logan, what have you guys talked about rule changes on any of the shows?
Yeah, we just talked about it last night. I think whenever I jumped on, you guys were talking about the bases.
yeah.
Yeah, I love the bases, honestly, and I know you guys are talking about. You guys were kind of against it. I think it's a non-issue. First of all, it's good for the players because whenever you're sliding headfirst in, it decreases the amount of injuries you get jammed fingers, broken fingers. If you're sliding feet first, it reduces the sprained ankle and whatever. Let's go Bucks. Okay. And so I think for that reason alone, that should be. I think everybody should be okay with that. Honestly,
I am. I'm okay with it, Logan. I'm just saying, why did just change first base though?
What do you mean? Oh,
Like, why do all the other bases need? Like, why didn't you make home plate bigger too?
I believe. Is it not? No, because that's a different thing. It's already a flat. It's flush.
But
with
it's the
ground.
same slide that they're used to now. Like, there's no way to get around it.
Oh well, I mean, they already have the Buster Posey rule. With stealing second and third. All those are like the big issue ones. Honestly, I think it. I said yesterday. I think the new rules are kind of a keeping the pitchers in line, honestly, because we've seen the last couple of years, pitchers they've been so pampered, I should say. They take 20 minutes to throw a fucking pitch. They have to play with their rosin bag and their balls, and then they have to, this one has a little bit of a scuff mark on it. Oh, I got to throw this one. Oh, this one has a grain of sand. Whoops, I got to throw that one out. And then they got to, once they do get a ball they have to feel around. They have to tighten it. They got to get it the right way. They can grip it and all this stuff. And I think that takes away so much from the game because you're going 1 minute between each pitch, and then it just dilutes it. So I think, whenever there's a runner on with 6 inches, because it's 6 inches on the left side of the first base bag, or 3 inches on the left side of the first base bag, and then 3 inches on the right side of the second base bag, that's going to be a lot quicker. And you do not have the luxury anymore as a pitcher to ignore a first base, a runner on first. You have to pay attention to it. You can't just be like, oh, well, whatever, I'm going to strike the next 2 guys out and that'll be it. Well, you have to pay attention. And I like that. And
So, Logan, maybe you can answer this question. I asked Joe and Chase backstage. Like, they only get 2 pickoff attempts, okay?
Okay.
So the runner knows this, right? And the runner takes off. Is he allowed to step off the mound and throw to second?
So the rule is you have 2 free attempts on each in each batter. So say Paul Goldschmidt is in the batter's box, and Tommy Edman is on first base, and the pitcher is Max Scherzer. So Max Scherzer has 2 free attempts to try to pick off at first base to get Tommy Edman out. He has a third, but if he is not able to get Tommy Edman out, Tommy Edman gets second base for free. It's considered a balk, basically. And that's another thing that I really like, but we can get into. I mean, we'll probably get into that later. But as for that, Tommy Edman can take as big of a lead, so to what you're saying is if he tries to steal mid throw, yeah, he can still throw to second and try to get in a pickle. And I don't believe that affects anything. I don't think if he fails to get Tommy Edman and he runs back to first base, I think he doesn't get second base at that point if they get caught in a pickle, basically. If that answers your question.
Might we ever see a 1-4-3 pickoff?
Possible.
Possible.
Now, I think it might be a little more possible now. Yeah, but I agree.
I
agree with you. I agree with Logan on the idea of. I like the idea of keeping pitchers a little more in check, and I like the possibility of jump starting the run game. I guess I'm not all that worried about. I'm not completely purist at heart. I like seeing base running. I think that's exciting, but I like the idea of making the pitcher be accountable for what he's doing out there and the mind games that they're trying to play back and forth. It might up the drama a little bit with a runner on first. So
Does anyone like the
doesn't
fact
bother
that
me.
does anyone like the fact that we went back to normal positioning in the infield during at bats?
No, I'm strongly against that because these are major league hitters. And if they don't want to be shifted, then hit the ball to the opposite field. The second these guys started hitting to the opposite field, the shift would have stopped automatically anyway. But these guys can hit to the opposite field like a major league hitter should, or drop a bunt or something to the other side. I wish it would have. I wish they would have kept it because again, the second these guys hit against the shift, it would have stopped automatically anyway.
Right? Like, yeah, I don't like the idea of forcing a lot of creativity out of playing defense. Now, I mean, the only reason the positions are there is traditionally it made sense to split people up that way. The second baseman really doesn't stand on second base. You know what I mean? Like the third baseman doesn't really stand on third base. It's not like, a video game from the 80s.
Yeah.
You've got guys, two guys in between each base trying to cover as much as you can. You've already got a pitcher in the middle. So in theory, you've got five evenly spaced out guys to stop a ground ball. You've got three outfielders and they split themselves and shift themselves around. But the whole idea behind the shift is trying to be creative and take away. Everything's gone to analytics in every sport now. And yeah, back in the old days, you anecdotally could say, oh yeah, well, this guy always pulls. He's a puller. He always pulls. But I mean, they can literally look at whatever kind of pitch and against so many types of pitchers and everything else right now. It was an attempt to actually strategize on defense a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, what's next? You can't pull guys up on a possible bunt attempt and
Right.
You can't shift outfielders past a certain line in the end. I don't know. I don't like
People
it.
still bunt.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. They do
And bunting is going to be
in theory.
I like the shift ban. I was talking yesterday. I said it's kind of the same thing. The shift is only against lefties, honestly, and today's pitcher is so much more dominant than they were 60, 50 years ago. You think about them, like the pitcher, Max Scherzer, I'm going to go back to him, or Jacob deGrom. I used him. He throws 100 miles an hour on a fastball. He has a slider that will knock you down. I mean, he's got a beautiful slider. So he has a 102-mile fastball. So you as a hitter, as a lefty hitter, you have to know, okay, I got to be able to know what pitch he's throwing at this moment. It's either a slider, a fastball. I think he has a curveball and a splitter. I can't remember. Oh yeah, Joe, you know.
He's got I don't think he's got the splitter, but he's definitely got a killer curveball.
Yeah. So you have to figure out what he's throwing. You have to know where he's going to throw it. What you have to work your timing out. You have to think, okay, what am I thinking? Where do and then you also have to think, where am I going to hit this? And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I was in T-ball, it was really hard to be able to know where you can hit it and go opposite way. Just it takes a lot of skill. And I feel like the whole, and not picking on you, Joe, but the whole, like, oh, if you're being paid millions of dollars, you better learn how to do that. I feel like that's a little bit too, I don't want to say ignorant, but I want to say like, it's just like, I don't feel like people fully understand how important it is to hit a baseball. Like Ted Williams used to say, there's nothing harder than hitting that small little round white ball with your your bat. That's the hardest thing to do in sports. And I think I think it only affected left-handed hitters. And whether or not they should be able to, they haven't been in the last 10 years. They haven't been able to. And I think it goes into another thing where I don't like that the defense has to pull out a little piece of paper in their back pocket that says, okay, well, when Joey Gallo comes up, you have to move all the way 15 paces to the right field center, and then like clockwork, Joey Gallo hits it right to you. I don't like that. I think that takes athleticism out of the game. I think, and it takes away the smartness. It's kind of like having a cheat code to a video game where you know who's coming. You have like this radar and know what's going to happen before it happens. Fans do not like to see that. And I know traditionalists, like, they're like, well, why are you tampering with that? It's just because it's not fun to watch Joey Gallo hit to the same spot. And then these guys just know, oh, well, we got to hit it. Now that's Joey Gallo's fault for not being able to, hit center or hit the center field, or like it's either home run or bust with him. And but I mean, I feel like he's the most extreme example. I mean, I feel like Matt Carpenter, he got really screwed. He was one of the best players in Major League Baseball for years. And then in 2019, they started really enforcing the shift on him, and it kind of screwed with his mentality and his his game. And I mean, luckily he played for the Yankees, where they have the short porch, and it kind of gave him some confidence back. So I think and Raul Ibanez, he went on John Boy Media, and they had a great interview with him. He's one of the rule changers for next season, and he talked about all of it. And he said, like, it's basically, yeah, I understand. It feels like it's just destroying old school, but we feel like this is how this is going to make the game more fun. Mm-hmm. And I feel like one of my mottos is, and I don't mean to go on a tangent, but like, analytics should be used as a tool and not a strategy. That has always been my saying. Tampa Bay Rays use it as a strategy, and it has fucked them over so many times. Most famously, the Blake Snell game in the World Series in 2020. They pulled him out whenever he gave up one hit, and that kind of hurt it. Using analytics to just know what's going to happen in a game before it even happens is I don't like.
See, I'm going to disagree with you there, Logan. I'm a little bit with Joe on this, where first off, Ted Williams would have loved to have seen somebody put a shift on him because he could hit everywhere. And I realize that, yeah, you're talking 60 years ago against guys who weren't Jacob deGrom, but let's not pretend like guys couldn't throw hard back then either.
No, that's true.
Okay. And to kind of keep going on this point here a little bit, is analytics have always been used as strategy. What do you call knowing that a guy can't hit the low inside breaking pitch? You've got data that supports that. They've always used data like that. And as far as pulling the card out of a guy's pocket and having him shift over 15 paces, okay, if you don't like them pulling paper out of their pocket, there's nothing stopping the guy in the dugout. There's nothing stopping their bench coach, manager, or whoever, pointing them in the right direction in terms of pulling the piece of paper out. I just think taking that shift out of things, you're conceding that professional hitters can't figure out a way to be professional, in my opinion, and you're taking something out of the hands of the defense. You're rewarding a guy who only swings for the fences, and so he's always out in front of everything and pulls it down the line in either direction. You're now rewarding that guy, or you're helping mitigate his shortcoming as a professional hitter by saying, oh, well, no, you can't do, even though you know what's going to happen, you can't react to it right now.
Right. And I'll tell you what, Jeff McNeil won a batting title because of the shift. He was constantly hitting. In fact, halfway through the season, he was laughing at that. He says, I can't believe these teams are still shifting against me. If you watched him take at bats, he would always go up. And this is what I think a lot of hitters should do. And Logan, I agree. It's probably easier said than done, even for major league hitters. But Jeff McNeil, if you watch his at bats, every time he's watching and seeing where the fielders are, and he's deliberately trying to hit where they're not. And again, he won a batting title.
I understand the idea, the desire to have the game move faster, but there's also that desire for more offense. Well, this seems like a concession to the let's get more offense in the game for all the people who can't stand watching a baseball game for 9 full innings at the
It's gonna make
expense
it
of,
last longer.
I mean, you can't increase the number of base runners and pitches and plate appearances and runs scored in a game and simultaneously decrease the amount of time that it takes to play a baseball game.
Yeah.
Because wherever you have scored a run, wherever you've scored, even on a home run, wherever you've scored a run, that has taken more time than an out would have taken in that space of time.
Yeah.
You adding offense to the game adds time to the game. You can't then subtract time from the game and be pissed when it affects the outcome or with the offense or vice versa. I just think pitch counter timer, great, all for it. Some of these other innovations and anything like you said that makes it a safer game, I'm for. But yeah, I think screwing around with the shift was just a concession to everybody who doesn't want to sit through an actual baseball game.
So one thing I want to say is, like, you mentioned Ted Williams and the shift. Actually, the shift originated because of Ted Williams. Yeah. And I can't remember who it was, but Josh Lewis, he does our Caught in a Pickle, and he does he's a big history guy. And one of his first episodes was about the shift. And he would talk about how they couldn't get Ted Williams out, and they used the shift as kind of a mind thing, just to kind of get into Ted Williams's mind. And so anyways, that was a really good, little factoid. I thought it was cool, but I do understand where you guys are coming from. I think it's not necessarily trying to make the game shorter. It's just trying to make the games not feel like it's 8 hours long, just for 9 innings of baseball. But I mean, and I enjoy it. I will watch all those games.
I'm gonna say, but we're baseball people.
But
Right, we're different. We're different.
We're in it.
What's the last time, Joe? I don't know anybody. When's the last time you saw a guy go up to the plate and not be holding that thing as far down on the knob as he can and trying to get his launch angle and bat speed and everything else that's come with analytics? And I'm all for that because I understand why they're doing it. But when's the last time you saw a guy go up against a slight shift or a full shift and choke up on that bat a little bit so he's got a little bit more control so he can hit it the other way like Ty Cobb did 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. You don't see that kind of thing. Everybody's just up there thinking about launch angle and how hard can I hit this thing into the seats. Mm-hmm. They're not looking at how to get on base anymore. Well, if you're going to increase base running now, if you want to make some of these tweaks that they've made the consensus is may increase base running as a weapon, bring it back. I think it behooves them to start thinking about things more like that. Think about more than just your launch angle and your bat speed. Think about bat control. Think about how to hit the other way. Think about when you have to close your stance off or open your stance up, depending on what you see in front of you and who the pitcher is in front of you and what the situation is. It's situational, actual baseball knowledge that as a hitter, we haven't seen anybody really do that since Tony Gwynn 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And,
McNeil did it a lot this year.
Yeah. Right. But for the most part, we just don't see that level of professional hitting anymore. Everybody is basically Bob Horner.
Right.
Some of them with better batting averages.
Yeah. I wish there was, I like you talk about that. I see Tommy Edman do that. It's mostly the contact hitters who know I can't hit a home run with on a day-to-day basis. So I got to know what tools I can use, and they choke up. But there's a player, Paul DeYoung, former shortstop of the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. He's been in a slump since 2020, and it drives me insane because every time he goes up at bat, he does not choke up on a 0-2 count, and and you can tell
shorten your swing.
At every swing, he is trying to swing for the fences and hit a moonshot.
Even Barry Bonds choked up on 2 strikes.
Yeah, I mean,
Barry Bonds
he probably didn't need to. Often. Yeah, I was going to say he probably didn't need to.
I just remember,
hitter.
yeah. I mean, he choked up anyway.
Yeah.
There was always like that much of the bat being shown at the bottom whenever he swung the bat.
Barry Bonds, I mean, he had all
He
kinds
was
of stuff
doing
coursing
it.
through him at the time, but he was a professional hitter outside of that. You know, regardless of the 800,000 home runs he hit, he was a professional hitter. The man, he knew what was and wasn't a strike when it was coming at him. He was better at that than maybe anybody, even maybe better than Johnny Bench was at seeing that. He didn't miss the ball. When he swung, he decided to swing at a pitch that he should have swung at. He was a professional hitter. He just happened to be strong enough that every time he touched the damn thing, it'd go over the fence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss some of that. I say I miss it,
Small ball.
but yeah, actual baseball happening and not just video game home runs.
The home runs are fun for the
home runs are fun.
But yeah, it's not as exciting as, hitting a double and then a single brings the guy home on a bang bang play and the right fielder throws the home and you got to you hold your breath because you're like, oh my gosh, he's about to be out and then he's safe or something or whatever. And it's really fun. I think small ball is a lot more fun.
How much more exciting is it to see Enos Slaughter score from first base on a single in a World Series game than it is to see a guy just jack a solo home run in the third inning with no one on?
Right.
Yeah, home runs are fun for moments.
Yeah,
but not necessarily the whole game.
When Robin Yount helped them design the outfield for Miller Park when they were building American Family Field, whatever the hell they want to try and call it now. It's Miller Park still.
Yeah.
He specifically designed the angles on that fence so that it would play as a triples ballpark because he said that's the more exciting play in baseball. Now it's got a short enough porch and it's a hitter's park anyway.
Yeah.
But he specifically helped them design that so that it would be a triples type ballpark. You'd have angles where the ball could bounce around and you'd get to see a guy run for more than just first, home to first and back to the dugout.
All right.
All right. Are we done?
Yeah, let's get to a couple of teams. Actually, I got kids that are looking to go to bed at some point.
I was going to say I got about a half hour here.
All right. Jason is not joining us apparently. I told him we were going over rules and stuff, and he's like, if I can jump in, I jump in. But anyway, Joe, let's start with you. Bang bang, let's go.
Okay. So as far as the Mets.
Start with the Mets.
I mean, obviously some pitching changes. Some guy named DeGrom is no longer part of the team, which it's a big loss. Yes. As a Mets fan, I hate to see him go, but again, he missed so much time. And even this year, I'd love to see him do well, but it's only a matter of time before he's on the IL again at some point. And how much can he do?
Right.
So, yeah, again, I wish him the best, and I hope he does great. Just not a miracle game against the Mets at some point when they play the Rangers. But, Chris Bassett is a pretty big loss, too. I really liked him and what he did for the team. It was just a one-year deal last year, and he's not with them. But they do, have a lot of pitching depth, although with that depth, a lot of questions. Looking at some of the people they got, a couple of mediocre pickups that are either going to be, mediocre additions and not do much, or could potentially add a lot to them. A couple of names to throw out there. Eliezer Hernandez that was with the Marlins. Again, average pitcher, but he could potentially add. A guy you may have heard of from a couple of years ago, Joey Lucchesi, who played for the Padres. Good additions. Again, the potential at their best are some excellent additions to the rotation. Of course, they did pick up some guy named Verlander that you might have heard of as well.
It's not a bad consolation prize if you're going to lose DeGrom.
No, I certainly don't mind him coming in. I will talk about him and Scherzer in a second. But, also a foreign pickup here, whereas Kodai Senga, another potential excellent addition. And this besides the guys that they already have, Carrasco, David Robertson and McGill, some guys that they had that really made some excellent contributions to them last year. I mean, there were some injuries and some inconsistency, But I mean, Scherzer and Verlander are set as long as they stay healthy. But a lot of depth further below that I think can help them. My big questions for Verlander and for Scherzer, of course, is durability. Can they make it through the regular season, healthy? Also, what concerns me is postseason with those two. Scherzer the last couple of years, one with the Mets and with other teams, with the Dodgers when he was there, faded dramatically late in the season, and didn't pitch well in the postseason. Verlander at times has been questionable in the postseason too, especially lately. So, I totally expect the Mets to be in the postseason. I honestly think they have an excellent shot to win the National League Eastern Division. But getting to the playoffs and then performing in the playoffs is the big question for me, especially for those older, veterans that they have. How much will they have left, when they get there? So, again, I like the depth, but my only question is, again, the durability. And then for the bottom of the rotation, how good is it? And the middle relief and of course, with Diaz there signing a big contract, bullpen looks pretty good. Again, a lot of depth there, but just how good is it? And I guess we'll find out in the near future on that.
Yeah, Verlander's going to be 40 next week. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not getting any younger.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's only half a year or so behind him. I mean, they're not young, especially for pitchers, but that's a hell of a top two. If you go into a postseason series, that's a hell of a tandem to be able to roll out in front of everybody.
Yes. But how much will they have left?
How much will they have? Yep.
When they get there? That's the question.
Well, I feel like both of those guys need to take like all of August off because I don't know, like, because the Phillies and the Braves got better in the offseason. So I don't know if they really have that luxury to just say, look, let's give Scherzer and Verlander these days off. I think that's 5 starts each.
Right.
So I've always felt like some of those older guys, I felt like Wainwright needed that last year. Like he needed to take some, like the last 2 weeks off. But the Cardinals didn't feel like they needed to do that. And instead they decided to get swept and whatever. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea. Maybe not 5 games apiece, but maybe 2 or 3 apiece.
Yeah.
I
just
think
need to,
they will
need
do that.
rest. Yeah.
And I think they should do that.
Yeah, especially because they're both workhorses. They'll give you 300 if you ask for it, but you don't really necessarily want them to do 300 innings a year anymore. It's good that they do that, and it's still a good milestone. But still, that you gotta kind of hold them, especially with them getting older. I didn't realize Verlander was already 40, or next week he will be.
Yep.
Right.
So, can I ask? Do you feel like? I don't know if you were doing grades on each other's off seasons, but do you feel like the loss of Correa was do you feel like that could, like if you had Correa, that would have pushed you over some sort of a hurdle to compete compete more with the Padres or the Phillies even?
I'm going to go contrarian here. I think that would have caused more harm than good. I was not disappointed at all when that fell through. I just didn't feel right about it. They already have so much depth in the infield. I mean, would I love to have a guy like that on the team? Of course I would. But I honestly think that it would have overcrowded things. And, physically, I'm not so sure where he is. And obviously that's not why that's why he's not on the team. So I have no issue whatsoever with him not being on the team. And again, I honestly think it would have caused more harm than good.
He, like you feel, I mean, yeah, I guess you guys are okay with, well, maybe not. Eduardo Escobar kind of took a dip last year.
Yeah, he was a little inconsistent. I mean, he had his moments. And again, I'm not expecting much from him this year, but he's a depth player there. Guillorme had a up year last year, and if he can have another year like that again, it's excellent depth there. They got Ruff that's still on the team, again, inconsistent and not an all-star, but again, depth that they have there. So
Yeah.
I'm fine with the infield as it is now.
Chase,
Yeah.
any good battles going on?
In Milwaukee, actually, we had kind of a low-key off-season in terms of bringing anybody new in outside of the heist they pulled off in the whole Sean Murphy trade. For some reason, they were allowed to get involved with that and take William Contreras, which will be nice. I mean, we lost Narvaez is actually in New York now. So they lost their starting catcher. I'm not the big Victor Caratini fan who will be backing up Contreras, but Contreras, all-star caliber, catcher. Is he going to be the difference maker for the franchise? No, but you've got a young guy at a key position that you can now use as you can keep him as a cornerstone for a while. He should be real solid. He should bat somewhere in there in the sweet spot in the lineup there between 3 to 5, somewhere in there. But I mean, outside of that, they traded and brought in Jesse Winker, who will probably play DH more often than not. There is an interesting. The Brewers don't have a depth problem in their starting rotation. If anything, we've got too many bodies, and it would be nice to move one or two of them and see if we can get a better bat back for one of these places where I think we're a little weak in the lineup. Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta are going to be the top 3 in some order, whether it's Woodruff as your 1 or whether it's Burns as your 1. Woodruff and Peralta, and Burns and Peralta are your top 3. They just brought in Wade Miley, was one of the few free agents they did sign. He's been with us before. He'll be their 4 or 5 guy. Eric Lauer played really well, pitched really well for them last year. They still have Adrian Hauser. Aaron Ashby right now is dealing with a little bit of soreness and fatigue in his shoulder, so he won't be ready for the beginning of the year. But after those first 3, I'm interested to see how the bottom of the rotation shakes out, because they seem like they have one too many guys, even if they want to go with like a 6-man rotation and they've done that in the past. Craig Counsell has been kind of a pioneer in terms of interesting ways to use his pitchers, his defense, his lineups, that kind of thing.
Do you think the Mets should maybe go to a 6-man rotation down the stretch?
That was something I was wondering about asking Joe about, because I know the Brewers did it last year to help keep some of their young guys fresher, because Peralta and some of them, they've done it the last couple of years, because Peralta and some of them had not been through a full season as a starter yet. And so they wanted to lighten the load. They lightened the load a little bit on them. And, and they got great results from their starting pitching last year. The last several years they have. So that might be one way then to not necessarily just have to erase Verlander and Scherzer for an entire month at a stretch or whatever, but lighten the load.
Think about that until you said it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great idea.
More opportunity, especially since they are, like you said, Joe, they do seem like they're kind of deep.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how the bottom of the rotation shakes out, who gets that 4th, 5th spot, and who ends up inevitably getting moved to the bullpen or maybe moved on for something else. Their bullpen is a cluster, right now, in my opinion. They've got a couple of guys that are probably locked in. Obviously, Devin Williams will be their closer. Matt Bush will probably be the setup guy there. They brought in 3 relievers when they traded Hunter Renfroe away, and 1 or 2 of them are out of options. So if you want to get anything out of them, you got to keep them. They've got a Rule 5 guy they took. Varland is his name. I don't know if he'll even end up making the team. It's not often when a contender actually keeps a Rule 5 guy around for the entire season. But there's not really anything set in that bullpen yet outside of Devin Williams as their closer. So that's going to be something to watch. And then the other thing to watch from the Brewers standpoint is actually on their infield now. They signed Brian Anderson. They brought in Brian Anderson as a and the thinking is that he may end up being the third baseman. He may supplant Urias as their third baseman and move Luis Urias to second base. The problem with that is that Urias, Urias was about the only guy who's actually held down third base for the Brewers for a couple of years now. Their top minor league prospect, Bryce Turang, is actually a second baseman, and there's been some thought that he could start the year there. He's going to be in camp. He's going to have every chance to win that position. So how does the Anderson Urias Turang triangle shake out between second and third base? And then depending on who wins those battles, if Turang doesn't win a spot, does he go back to the minors, and does that lead to them keeping someone around more like a Keston Hiura, who is that perpetually intriguing prospect bat but never quite puts it all together? He's struck out a ton, and he's regressed almost each one of his years in the majors. So there will be some competition on the infield slots there. Hiura, I think, is out of options. So if they don't want him around, if they don't want to keep him, they're going to have to either release him outright or try to find a trade partner for him. So there are some good battles to be had there in the infield. Tellez, I think, Rowdy Tellez will be their first baseman again. They're going to keep, obviously, Willy Adames will be as a franchise cornerstone at shortstop. But how does that shake out between Urias, Anderson, and Turang? If Turang ends up getting sent back down to the minors, I think, like I said, Urias starts at second, Anderson at third. Brian Anderson is not my idea of an exciting ad at third base, especially, but that's where you're looking at. That's where you're looking at the competition for not just roster spots, but for starting positions here. And then in their outfield, they've got Christian Yelich, who they're not going to not play. They're paying him way too much for that, and he's still a slightly above replacement level player, even with the slump he's been in for 2 years. But they have a lot of young guys there. Garrett Mitchell, who was one of their top prospects, Tyrone Taylor, Sal Frelick, who is another one of their top prospects, could have an opportunity to win a job in training camp outright and stay up. So there are some real good position battles on this team, I think, coming into spring training.
I can tell a lot of us ain't out of football yet. We're calling it training camp.
Yeah. Spring
training camp all day.
Spring training type time. I'm the same guy that I'm in theater. I do plays in that, and I'm the same guy that calls intermission halftime in theater, and they all look at me cross-eyed too. So, but
all right.
No, there should be some good competition this spring in the Brewers
Logan.
camp.
Before I get into mine, I get so pissed off at the Brewers. I'm a Cardinals fan.
Buddy.
I love the Brewers, and I want the Brewers to do so well. And then they had so much talent, and then last trade deadline, they just totally I don't know what they did. They
scuttled their own ship.
Yeah, and so I feel like I hate the Reds franchise because of what the owner said, and I hate the Brewers franchise just because they totally had such a good opportunity and could have gotten better, and they totally just screwed the pooch.
No, when they gave up on Hader, and it's not that from a baseball standpoint they weren't justified in it at the time. He did not pitch well for the Brewers last season.
Yeah,
but you're talking about a guy who had been the top reliever basically in baseball for a several-year stretch.
Yeah.
And a team that was in contention and didn't look like they should be selling, and that looked like a complete sell move, not getting anything Major League Baseball ready back for them, not getting anything to improve that lineup or to shore up their bullpen at all. Don't talk to me about getting Rogers back in the bullpen, because they didn't even end up keeping any of the we were just as frustrated on this end.
Yeah, my conspiracy theory was that they kept hearing that the Cardinals were going to get Soto and they were going to get another pitcher.
And then
so they were like, well, we can't compete with that right now, so we're just going to sell off our guy. And I think that was my conspiracy theory on that. But I was so angry at them. And then I kept hearing rumors that they were going to trade Burns to some team, and I was like, don't do that. Just build your team. Don't turn into the Oakland Athletics all of a sudden.
Right.
So it's so weird. But for me, the Cardinals only got Wilson Contreras as more of a screw you move to the Cubs. They rather had Sean Murphy, but they didn't want to give up. I think it was 2 players. It was Lars Nootbaar or Brendan Donovan, and they were like, no, we don't want to trade Brendan Donovan, who's Tommy Edman 2.0. So whatever. So they got the next best thing, which is Wilson Contreras. they lost Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, which Yadier Molina was just a rousing fart bag in his last 3 seasons. So good fucking riddance to you, you shithead. Albert Pujols turned out to be a huge loss, especially after the second half of the season,
Man.
where he was just, I mean, he was MVP level. I
You
mean,
talk
it was,
about a special run to end a guy's career, coming back home, making that run at history, and playing like, I mean, he looked like he was 20 years younger than he was.
Yeah.
I had never seen him play
Amazing.
like that since like the
No
2008,
one had.
2009 season. Yeah, I mean, and he was actually playing better, I think, hitting wise than that.
How
And so
cool
that,
was that to watch?
oh my gosh, it was. I was screaming a lot, especially on 700, and I was like, oh my
Right.
gosh. But anyways, so losing Yadier is good, good and bad. I think a lot of the pitchers are going to be a little bit not worried, but trepidatious about trusting a new guy and getting familiar with a new guy. But I think that's going to go away really quickly. Wilson has he's been in Jupiter for the last month working on his catching day in and day out. He is actually skipping. He's not playing for, I think it was Venezuela.
In the
in the
WBC.
world-
Yeah.
in the WBC because he said he wanted to work on his catching game, and that is good for me. I like that. I trust him. He's going to be his offensive. His offense is going to outweigh his defensive woes. That sounded so weird saying woes, but whatever. I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, that's going to be good. But that was it, and that was a really shitty offseason for the Cardinals. They should have gotten a shortstop. They needed a shortstop, but John Mozeliak is too proud to admit that he made a mistake extending Paul DeJong, and so he's going to stick with Paul DeJong. He said, even though he's been dog shit for the last 3 seasons. So they didn't get a shortstop. They didn't get bullpen help. Basically, they're hoping that Jordan Walker is going to save them, he's the number 4 prospect in all of MLB. He's going to be playing left field. And Gordon Grishefo, who's a top 100 prospect in MLB, I believe he's going to be getting bullpen, and Tink Hintz, another top 100. So they're hedging all their bets basically on these prospects. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never hedged a bet on a prospect and gotten good returns on it. That I've liked some of the prospects the Cardinals have brought up, but I don't think you can really fully put so much weight on them, especially for a postseason / World Series run. I've never seen a team full of rookies win a World Series before in my life. And so I mean, like I said, I don't know if we're doing grades, but I give the Cardinals like a D+, honestly, with this offseason, because you're gambling so much on it and you didn't go out and get sure things. Andrew Chafin. They should have gotten Andrew Chafin. He was a sure
should
thing.
we have, though?
Yeah. Like I think
Could have shared him.
he said part-time. A lefty. I mean, he's been one of the best lefty relievers for the past, 10 years now?
Mhm.
And he just signed with the Diamondbacks, and the Cardinals were supposed to get him. And I don't understand it. It's $5 million a year. You can't afford that. And they're like, oh no, well and so they keep saying that we're gonna get better in the trade deadline. We're gonna get better in the offseason, but you've been promising that, and everybody says
it's a winnable division. That's the frustrating thing about what we did too, is that it's a winnable division. Had either one of our 2 teams gone out and made a couple of big acquisitions, you could have actually separated yourself from the other, or at least made yourself the clear favorite, and put yourself squarely, comfortably in the wild card race. As it is, they'll fight with each other. And if the Cubs end up being better than 95 losses, like Joe and I were talking about earlier, if the Cubs end up being an okay team, now you're looking at another 3-team race. Whereas if either of these teams had done something to really bring in somebody to address the heart, you all right there, Ed? if we brought in a bigger bat at third or whatever, made a splash play for our lineup to strengthen that lineup, a lineup that was already top 10 in in all the hitting categories last season, that could have really helped with the pitching crew they have. And like you said, if they had done just a little bit more, brought just a little bit more in, St. Louis was the favorite to begin with. They're still the favorite.
And you don't have to spend money like the Dodgers or the Padres. You just had to get a Trey Turner would have been monumental.
One move.
Andrew Chafin. Yep. Andrew Chafin. Sean Murphy, who, I'm okay with Wilson Contreras, but I'm just saying just something just three small, Trey Turner was not a small move, but he got paid a lot less than I was expecting him to get paid.
Yeah.
He's getting paid $27 million a year. You can't swing that. That's perfect. I think there were just some small moves that they could have made that they didn't need to get. They didn't need to get Carlos Rodon. They didn't need to go get Edwin Diaz. You didn't need to go get all these big time guys, just a couple of guys. And I feel like they just always, I think the Cardinals ownership takes advantage of the Cardinals fans' good graces. And, the Cardinals fans, I love Cardinals fans. Okay. I hate Cardinals fans. Actually, I love the Cardinals, hate the fans, but they always they can't act like they're being bad fans, because if you act like you're a bad fan, then you're not rooting for your team 100% of the time. I swear it's like a religion here. You can't say one bad thing about the Cardinals, and if you do, you're going to baseball hell, and you're not a true fan. You're a bandwagon guy. I wish the Cardinals were like a Yankees, Mets, or a Phillies fan base. Just don't be afraid to boo your guys. They need to be booed sometimes.
Right.
Just kick your team in the ass. You got to hold them accountable. So anyways, that's the end of my rant, but thank God Yadier Molina's retired. Adam Wainwright, he should have retired last season. The team was pushing him. They were like, "Oh, the three amigos are going out into the sunset, riding off into the sunset." And Adam Wainwright was like, "No, I'm gonna stay one more year, and I'm gonna force you guys to re-sign me." And they're like, "Okay," because if you don't re-sign Adam Wainwright, then
you'll be held to pay.
My gosh, the fan base would have turned on you like none other. So, anyways, so whatever. But you can't get Jose Quintana either. You can't re-sign him, who was the best pitcher on your freaking team. Anyways, I'm fine.
As a Brewer fan, I think it's funny. I think it's funny to hear somebody from the Cardinals just pissed that they didn't make the team better. And when it feels like that's all that it's all we ever see in Milwaukee is that everybody else gets better around us, and we don't make that big move. But yeah,
I'm the most unbiased. Ryan Swift from BSing Sports, he says I'm way too unbiased. So I'm like, okay, fine. But anyways, go ahead, Pirates fan.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna see Cruz and Castro hopefully carry on a mini Pirate tradition of having a good shortstop, second base tandem. We should get some double plays with Rich Hill, and I don't even know why they brought him in. Holy cow! Anyway, he's 43 years old.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They wanted their own Adam Wainwright.
Rich Hill's gotten better with age.
O'Neal Cruz is the excitement on this team.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
And I honestly can't wait to see him play again this year. It's something I look forward to now. I have something to look forward to. But is Ji-Man Choi or Connor Joe gonna be hitting around him?
Is Connor Joe on the Pirates?
What?
Is Connor Joe on the Pirates?
Yes, he's playing left. He's
I love Connor Joe.
The starting left fielder.
Connor Joe is awesome. I think he's an underrated player. But I love Ji-Man Choi also.
And if Brian Reynolds still going to be here, is someone going to snoop him up before training camp?
I said the same thing, Logan. I like Ji-Man Choi too. I like him a lot. He looks like he has fun playing the game.
Yeah,
I
and
just
yeah,
he was on the Brewers for like a cup of coffee in the spring one time before we shipped him off to. I think he made our opening day roster, and then they traded him immediately to the Rays.
Yankee. Was it the Rays?
It was the
I
Rays.
know he was on the Yankees
after
for
he left
about 5
Milwaukee. He
seconds,
went
too.
to Tampa.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, I like him too. So I'm glad somebody else likes him.
I mean, they went up to Cleveland and signed Austin Hedges. Should be okay, I guess. I don't.
Austin Hedges is dog shit now. Oh my gosh.
I think it's funny. Everyone dove into the bag of Cleveland ex guys. Luke Maley went to Cincinnati. Oscar Mercado went to you guys, Logan, and then we signed Austin Hedges.
Oh yeah, we got Mercado.
Yeah, we got a pretty good.
World Series team right here. Got Mercado now and Wilson Contreras.
We ended up signing Carlos Santana, 37 years old.
He can still do it too, I think.
I think he's going to be a good DH. How much speed he got?
Here's where getting rid of the shift sucks, because O'Neal Cruz is about 13 and a half feet tall. You could have put your third baseman on the second base side of the bag, shifted for just about everybody, right or left, and just left Cruz there to just dive one way or another and he'd stop everything that comes at him. You guys never would have given up a freaking hit. You never would have given up a single.
And
everything would have been double
that
for
100 mile an hour arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 6-7 at shortstop.
I am excited. I am excited about Cruz. I am excited.
Is that the tallest that any shortstop's ever been?
I think so. I think it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, that's not even a joke.
Yeah.
No.
Because there have only been a handful of guys in the league who have ever been taller than that at any position.
Him and
6'7".
Judge. Is Judge taller than him?
Judge is taller. Yeah. He's what, 6'8"?
Yeah, but
Well, he may be the same.
Judges.
But my main
Freak of
concern is
nature.
this rotation.
Well, hold on.
You got Mitch Keller, you got Ronzi Contreras, Rich Hill, JT Brubaker, and Vince Velasquez. That is their projected top 5 right now.
Oh, that's some names, buddy.
Brubaker's good. I wanted Brubaker last year in the Quintana trade.
And then the bullpen's a mess. If they keep Bednar, he'll be the closer, and Stevenson. So the end, if they can make it to the end, these two guys are pretty good at the end of the game. But they have to make it there first. So, I don't know how many innings is Rich Hill going to give. Is he going to get to 5 a game? Or is the age going to catch up to him? I saw him pitch in Pittsburgh last year with the Red Sox. I think his top speed was 96.
He'll be 43 before opening day.
Yeah.
He's 42.8 right now. So in 4 months, he'll be
4. Yeah, his birthday's in March. He'll be 43 before opening day. That's hey.
Yeah.
Good for you, dude. You're still doing it. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
44 and I
You're
ain't
getting
doing
paid,
shit.
right? You're getting paid.
But
But
what's your win total for this year then?
Who, for me?
Yeah.
Whew. I think they're going to be right around the Mendoza line. 82, 80, I think 80, 82, 80, 84, something in there. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be okay. Because they got some bats in this lineup that can maybe keep them in games. That's what I'm living off of here.
That would be a giant swing from last season.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be 20. That'd be 20 games better than last season. That'd be a giant. If you guys finish with that, you should be thrilled with how this year goes.
Yeah.
For
Well,
real.
here's
Like if they could pull that, god dang, that'd be it.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this crazy stat, Chase? Since our loss to Green Bay over a decade ago, the Steelers and Pirates both have 3 wins in the postseason.
Ouch.
And one of the
That
teams
hurts
has
more on the
gone
football
through
side
2
than
new
it does on
coaches.
the baseball side.
And one of the teams has gone through 2 head coaches.
Wait, you got Andrew McCutcheon back.
Oh, are we supposed to be excited about the 37-year-old?
Hey, dude,
Listen,
listen. You guys
I
have a
understand.
ton of.
He brings a
you guys
lot
have a
of
ton
good
of
vibes, a lot of
We
good
know you guys
energy.
have been around since the river was dug, and you got 3 trillion legends on your team. You're one of those teams, but you're talking about one of your all-time guys.
Oh, for sure. I thought he was signing a
gotta be
one-day
happy that
contract to
he's coming
retire Pirate.
No, you can't be pissed about bringing McCutcheon back. It's not like you guys were Aaron Judge signing away from taking it
Yes,
all.
we
Anyway.
were. We were close, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Aaron
right
Judge
now,
would have made him an
as I read
82 win team quick.
as I read a report the other day, Brian Reynolds, they posted that they are $50 million off on him right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just get rid of him. We'll take him.
That's why I'm wondering how long he's going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
We sent you guys cash for Wilson already.
I will
Send
trade
you
you
more cash and take Reynolds.
Enos Slaughter, Dizzy Dean, Stan Musial for Brian Reynolds. That's how most Cardinals fans are. Oh, I'm going to send you, what Yadier Molina right now, and Adam Wainwright, and Harrison
Listen.
Bader, and Paul DeYoung, and Matt Carpenter.
That's
Chase,
two
you were
Enos
talking-
Slaughter references too in one
Chase, you were talking
2020
earlier.
podcast.
and I happen to be wearing a 21 jersey today, and you said the not many good players coming in Rule 5 draft.
Well, yeah.
I guess
It's just rare that a contender holds on to a Rule 5 guy all year. It's one thing if you're the Reds and you're not expecting to compete this year and you grab a Rule 5 guy for the bullpen and use him when you're getting blown out. It's another thing for a team like that has postseason intentions and aspirations and realistic chances, like any of the other three teams that we're talking about here, to carry a Rule 5 guy all through the season. Because at some point you need that roster spot to maintain your position. And it's not often that a Rule 5 guy works out enough that you can afford to keep running him out there as a contender.
Yeah.
At any position.
Right. Since I know the two on the right here are my right looking at the screen are in a little bit of a rush because, Joe has school in the morning and Chase got kids to get to bed. Got to chase them off the bed, right? Why we talked a lot about the teams. Why don't we just jump right into our schedule, what we think is going to happen?
All right. I mean, win total. I was thinking 96. I was thinking 98. So how about 97? 97 for the Mets. As far as the division, do they have a chance to win it? Of course. You got the Braves in there. The Phillies.
The way I was breaking it down was who was in the room.
Oh.
As far as us?
Yeah, that's it. Not the whole division or nothing.
Okay.
I didn't know. I thought I explained that well enough.
Let me check this out. Let me make sure I know.
Hold on, I have that pulled up because I was paying attention to the rules, Adam.
I'll listen before, and then I'll speak.
Yeah, I can.
Right,
Cardinals played the Mets 2 times, 3-game set and 4-game set. You're welcome, Joe. I expect the Cardinals to be 3-4 against the Mets. I think they're going to get pummeled. I think 3 wins is wishful thinking. It's most likely going to be 2, but whatever. They play the Brewers 4 times, 3 3-game sets and a 4-game set, which I thought that was a little low, but then I forgot that.
Yeah, they screwed everything up.
Yeah. And so I believe that the Cardinals are going to be that's 9 plus 4 is 12. So no, it's 13. So they're going to be, I believe they're going to be 8-5 against the Brewers. I think they could be a little bit higher. Like if there was an over-under, I would actually take the over on that.
Cool thing about that is there's 7 games between each other in the last 2 weeks of the season, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be fun. That could be fun because those 7 games, the last 2 weeks of the season could decide that Central. Yeah. And if they're as weekly good as you and I have both made them out to be, that could be for a playoff spot, period, not just a wild card. You know what I mean? Like if they're both just fighting for the division and no wild card, but 7 games against each other in the last 2 weeks, that'll be fun.
Well, my only thing against it is Corbin Burns is going to be a Cardinal at the trade deadline. So
that's some good smack talk. I don't think it'll happen, but
sorry. But it's wishful thinking.
He might be souring on them because they are something like less than $750,000 apart in arbitration.
I will trade you
What the
Lefty
just pay the
McGee
man.
for Corbin Burns.
I will give you the entire Gas House gang
Yeah,
for Corbin Burns.
I'll give you Paul Dean. Fine.
Yes.
I'm giving him away basically.
Yes.
Let's
Throw
see.
it Gibson, you got a
Let me
deal.
see something real quick, guys. Hold on. All right, yeah. Look, here's a little stat I printed up the other day for the AL, and it just happened to be full of.
Right there. It's
Hmm.
nice to see a Brewer on any of those lists.
I'm kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised when I saw Corbin Burns.
MLB
That's the
Network
number
too,
one.
especially. Yeah, that was a big deal. It was like
I was expecting Wheeler to be higher and Fried to be higher.
Yeah.
Shohei seems right. Sandy
Joe, you got
Alcantara
two-
should be
you
number
got
2
two
at
guys.
least.
This one, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
especially
Sandy
since-
Alcantara would have been higher.
I
Yeah.
think maybe it's just because he doesn't do it as pretty as the rest of the guys. I think he's not really a strikeout guy. He's more of a ground ball pitcher, if I remember correctly. Maybe he is a strikeout.
He gets strikeouts, but the Brewers, because of the damn park they play in, they do want guys to throw for ground balls. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's good. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have him even in the conversation. And it's nice to have the rotation they got, because for so many years the Brewers were all about offense completely and had no shot in a pitching duel. And now they've actually got the pitching to back it up. And we were all pissed off and complaining last year about their hitting, but like I just said, man, this team was 10th in the league in runs scored, 3rd in the league in home runs, 10th in stolen bases, 10th in RBIs, 4th in walks, for a team that was 20 that had the 4th most strikeouts in the league to also have the 4th most walks in the league. You're making guys throw a ton of freaking pitches every game.
Yeah.
Like, you can use that to your advantage if you can just cut those strikeouts down a bit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got to get going. My wife is going to have my hide if I don't. But Joe, as always, good to see you again.
Likewise.
Thanks for having me, Logan. Good to
Chase.
see you. Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Chase, always nice seeing you, brother.
Yep. We'll be back on whenever we can. Let me know what's going on when, okay?
All right, baseball coming up. Like I said, I started doing USFL. I don't know if you were doing any coverage on that or not.
Well, I saw your Maulers shot last night. Now that looked pretty interesting. If you guys got Reuben Foster, I might have to actually watch now. So
Yeah, me and Webb are gonna try and break this down more and more as the
There you
season moves on. So I'm excited about that.
March
All right.
Madness before that.
Well,
See ya.
yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Follow me on Twitter, SDT Chase FFB. I'm out.
All right,
everybody.
Chase, we'll talk, buddy. I got you. I got your contacts.
All right, take care. And then I'm going to head out too. I will answer your question. Logan, I'm going to agree with your 4 for the Mets, 3 for the Cardinals assessment there.
Yeah.
Now that my Milwaukee guy's gone, but I was going to say Mets 5, Brewers 2 in that series. I'll say it while he's gone. No,
Yeah.
but I that's how I see it. So what are we talking? 9-5
Yeah.
Mets versus the Central, or those 2 teams in the Central anyway.
Yeah.
So hopefully I answered your question correctly that time.
I
Yeah.
have the Pirates going 2-4 this year against you guys, Joe.
All right. Oh, Pirates. You know what? I'll go with that too.
Really.
I'll agree with that.
The Cardinals play the Pirates 4 times. 4 game, 3 game, 3 game, 3 game. So that's 9, 13 again. I should have known that. But
I think they went
13.
with 13 just so there's an uneven number and it's easier to see who wins the division that way.
Yeah. I think they're going to go 9-4 against the Pirates. Of course, I don't want to sleep on the Pirates though. I mean, I think the Cardinals will run over them sometime, but I think the Pirates are going to be a lot better than Adam is thinking. So, not good enough to beat the Mets. I think 2 wins was generous for you, Joe, but I think they're going to sweep the Pirates on both of those counts. But the Pirates swept the Dodgers last year, and they've been riding that high for a
Well,
while.
here's what I'm thinking. The Pirates are always hot until like the middle of June. And they play them June 9th through 11th.
Okay.
And that's when I have them getting 2 wins. Because that is at home. in
Okay.
a 3-game series. And then they go to New York August 14th through the 16th.
You think they win a series against the Mets?
I think they do. I think they win the one at home.
Yeah, take 2 out of
Wow.
3 in Pittsburgh, and the Mets sweep them in New York.
Yeah.
Especially
Wow.
because, like you said, they kind of fade off a little bit later in the season.
Right.
And the Mets will
keep us-
hopefully be hitting their stride at that point and getting ready for the postseason. So I agree with that.
That's
You've
just my own
convinced me.
personal thoughts, but
No, I definitely agree. But
Gonna
I am
have to
going
get higher-
to head off here. Sorry to skip a little early, but
Joe, I'll see you tomorrow night, right?
yeah, we'll do some football tomorrow.
Yeah, final one for at least for NFL anyway.
Yeah, I don't do USFL. I've never watched the USFL game. Probably never will.
That's because you'll be That's because you're a golfer, Joe. You'll be on the course in summer.
I'll
It
be
was
on the
pretty
course.
fun.
I'm a big basketball and hockey guy, and that's going to be getting into full swing at that point. So,
March Madness, baby.
and that as well.
Love
Yeah.
that.
So
So,
football will come back in September, but yeah, I'll definitely be happy to talk to you about it tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Well,
See you,
hey,
Joe.
Joe. Have a good night. How people get you?
Joe Dell Sports on Twitter. Okay, and as always, I very much appreciate you having me on.
Remember, you got to get that Mets jersey in the background next time.
Yeah, well,
Not tomorrow though, but next time.
I won't do it tomorrow night, so I'll keep the Beasley jersey there. But yeah, I'll definitely have. I'll be a little more prepared with the props here.
Well, Joe, thank you for coming on. As always, it's fun.
Thank you again, and Logan. Always great to talk to you as well.
yeah, good to see you again.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you.
And then there were 2.
Then there were 2 loads.
Those guys were a bunch of assholes. Let's shit talk them now. Oh my gosh. Fuck the
Yeah,
Brewers.
right.
I hate them.
See, I never hated the Brewers.
No, I don't hate them. I don't hate them either. I like I said, I love these. I love all the teams, so I don't.
Now, if
there's
you
not a
gave
hatred.
someone different than people I've talked to over the years, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
but
only
the guys
certain-
that I try to bring on are pretty down to earth, and they're going to have that decent conversation for fun.
One of these days, I'm just gonna come in hard on like all these guys that just be like, "You guys suck." The Cardinals have 11 World Series wins. Fuck the Pirates.
Well, I mean, come on, I have the P eliminated already, like somewhere.
I like the old school Pirates logo. Is that still? That's not a logo. That's not still a current logo, is it?
I don't even know. I just found this and because it said NL, and I was like, all right, it's got all the teams. We're good.
I think that's like a early 2000s
I
Pirates.
think it
logo,
is
isn't
early
it?
2000. Yes, I mean we're in the cellar. Obviously, there's a 5 next to us, so we must have been really good that year. And that was the year the Brewers were pretty good because they're in first place.
Brewers, Cubs, and Cardinals.
Cardinals are in third.
Yeah, fuck the Cardinals. I hope they don't win this year. Actually, that's not true. I want them to win, but part of me doesn't want to. Otherwise, Mosaic's ego is going to get stroked. Anyways,
All right.
What
Hopefully, Brandon wasn't watching that one.
what?
Still alive.
Oh, Brandon's fine with that. He knows how much I hate the Cardinals sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, but you're a diehard fan. Like Chase was saying, we're like we're a different
Yeah.
breed when it comes to allowed to talk a little bit of like, what are you guys fucking doing?
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, I'm an honest fan. I will not. I cannot be blinded. I've been blinded before, and my head was in the sand. Like, oh no, you can't talk bad about the Cardinals. And then I saw.
Then you got on the podcast and you're like, wait.
Well, no, even before it, I remember I told Brandon whenever I went to work at VSN, I started VSN or started the baseball show on VSN. I was like, I am a Cardinals fan, but I cuss about them, and I will never talk. Like, I will never kiss their ass. I'm never gonna be oh boy. That's why I had to leave that Cardinals show. Otherwise, they were like, you're a little too negative for the Cardinals. It's like, fine. Anyways, what else were we covering today?
I think that's it, man. I think we touched everything.
Okay. Wow, an hour 15 minutes. Look at that.
Yeah, we had guys on that knew what we were talking about and knew what to do,
Man, this is weird. It's It's like weird. Usually, whenever I'm with you, you have to go 3.5 hours, and I'm
That's what
losing
we were
my
saying
voice.
before we started.
Well, finally.
Like we literally have one game to cover tomorrow, and I don't know how fast. Like it might go real fast, or we might end up just getting carried away.
You didn't want to invite me to that Super Bowl recap game, or
Come on, I was getting
no.
there.
No, it's too late. You don't
I
want
didn't
my
invite
NFL,
anybody, really.
my
Didn't
NFL
invite-
genius.
I was getting there. You can come on. You know that. I'll send the invitation.
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. I got things to do.
Ryan got the moving in. He couldn't be here tonight. Doesn't want to do any late night shows yet with the new job.
Ryan's a little bitch too. Like I need you to clip this out and say, and just have it to where it says, "Ryan's a little bitch." Suck it, Ryan. No, it's fine. I love you, Ryan.
I'm glad he's doing good. I don't know. I didn't talk to him today. Did you?
Not about that. I hope he's doing good. Him moving into a new place. Hopefully, it's like not a little shack outside of like this serial killer's house, and it's a little 1 bedroom where he has to shit in a bucket. He's like, "Oh, my life is over."
Maybe that's why he's not podcasting right now. I don't have internet.
His camera is standing on the bucket. Oh, this is Ryan. Anyways, poor Ryan. He didn't ask for this shit. Literally.
I know his mom helped. I know his mom helped him move on this journey.
Into the homeless shelter.
And he said nothing got broken on the trip. So I did talk to him a little bit.
Huh. I guess I can text him. Say, don't watch the last episode of.
Don't watch from 110 to 118 on the show tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go hook up my PS5. So
Did you just get it?
Yeah, I just got it today. So
What games you get?
I didn't get it. I didn't get any games yet. So I have my play. I had a PlayStation 4, so I should be able to upload all of it into my new PS5. So I'm gonna play some Red Dead Redemption 2, and maybe buy MLB The Show and knock some of this rust off, so I can be a dominant fucker again.
There you go. I like your I like what's going on here.
Yeah.
All right, Logan. Well, yeah, I got it. I got the Xbox.
Yeah, I used to have an Xbox. I can't stand the controllers anymore. Once I started playing with the PS5 or the PS4,
Well, they got
I was
small.
like, no, it's still. I
They're more
like the
back to-
handles being bigger because I got man hands. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
like that.
I never got into the like long handle things.
Yeah. Well, also, whenever I started getting the PS4, the MLB The Show was a PS4 exclusive, and I was like,
Right.
"Well, I don't care about
So if
Halo
we
that
can
much."
crossplay, I'll play you. I got MLB
Yep.
The Show on Xbox.
Are you getting the new one
I will eventually. Yeah.
eventually? Yeah.
I don't think it's out yet, is it?
No, it comes out on March 1st.
Okay, so I mean, if we can crossplay, I'll play in some old MLB 22.
22. Oh yeah, that's Shohei. Okay. Well, yeah, we can do
Well,
that.
Logan, tell people what you're up to nowadays, man.
I am mostly editing. I kind of left the 7th inning stretch, but I'm still working with VSN. So we're doing interesting things. We just launched VSN Baseball, VSN Football, and VSN Collegiate. We're going to be doing video game content with me and Shelby Miller, the co-host of
pitcher?
No, not that Shelby Miller. She played college ball.
Because you know who else just started like twitching and playing on that? Cal Hamilton for the Ravens.
Oh, really? Blake Snell, he's got a great MLB. He plays MLB The Show on Twitch and stuff. He's pretty funny. It's really weird hearing him talk. He's like, "Yo, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Okay." I expected him to have like a squeaky voice, like, "Eh." Anyways.
Well,
Good job, Blake.
hopefully it works out for you. Like you start streaming this stuff, and all of a sudden, like one of these guys is like, "Let's play a game."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna totally play Blake Snell, and then if he starts beating me, I'm gonna rage quit. So that'll be good.
I love it. That's good. I'm glad you're helping out with Brandon and back in the system at least.
Yeah, I'm helping everybody out. I'm just a giver, man.
All right. Well, as you see, we're obviously on Valentine's Day doing a stream right now, so I don't know how.
Yeah, I forgot today was Valentine's Day, and I kept forgetting. Like people would tell me, like, "Hey, it's Valentine's Day," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And I kept seeing like the movie theaters and every place was packed, and I was like, "Man, why is it so packed?" And they're like, "It's Valentine's Day," and I was like, "Fuck." Anyways,
No lucky lady for you either, huh?
not today.
Not
Listen,
today.
I don't got time for the ladies. I got a PS5. I got to play my game.
I love it. All right, Logan. Well, we're gonna do it again. I don't know when, but I thank you for popping in. I love your studio today. It threw me off. Like whenever you logged on, I was like, "Where the fuck is he?"
Yeah, it's a nice
That's
place.
right.
If you need to get married, come on over to Serenity Falls. We'll treat you right.
Free advertisement right there.
You're welcome. Okay.
You don't make enough money for that shit.
I don't. Not yet.
All right, guys. Well, this was our little NL preview. We're probably gonna do it again. Try and get some other teams on here. But like I said, Logan, I thank you. We'll definitely have to play some MLB The Show if we can crossfade. And everybody have a good night.
Bye.